People are mirrors. They reflect the way you see yourself, whether you realize it or not. Every interaction you have, every relationship you build, and every connection you form is a direct reflection of the energy you project. If you see yourself as an option, others will too. If you tolerate half-hearted effort, inconsistency, and bare minimum attention, that's exactly what you will continue to receive. The truth is, people treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. And if you allow yourself to be seen as anything less than a priority, you will never be one. Your worth is not something you have to prove to someone else. It is something you must first recognize within yourself. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for someone else to validate their value. They wait for a text message to feel important, for someone's attention to feel beautiful, for an invitation to feel included. But real self-worth is not determined by external validation. It is an internal foundation that remains unshaken, regardless of how others treat you. When you truly understand this, you will never again settle for being an afterthought. Many people lower their standards out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of losing someone they care about. They accept breadcrumbs instead of the full meal they deserve. They justify mistreatment, making excuses for why someone isn't showing up for them. But the uncomfortable truth is that when someone truly values you, they make the effort without excuses. You never have to beg for their time, their love, or their presence. You don't have to remind them to consider you. They simply do. The way you see yourself dictates how others see you. If you walk into a room with confidence, if you carry yourself with a sense of purpose and self-assurance, people will respond to that energy. They will respect you because you respect yourself. But if you constantly doubt your worth, second-guess yourself, and settle for less, that energy is also noticed, and people will treat you accordingly. Think about the people you admire the most. The ones who command attention without even trying. The ones who are respected, valued, and treated like a priority. What do they have in common? It's not luck, and it's not about looks, money, or status. It's about self-perception. They believe they deserve the best, and that belief shapes the way the world interacts with them. If you've ever found yourself feeling like an option, like someone only reaches out when it's convenient for them, ask yourself, what signals am I sending? Am I allowing this? Am I showing them that they can have me on their terms without putting in real effort? You have to be honest with yourself. If someone knows they can treat you as an afterthought and you'll still be there, they have no reason to change. This doesn't mean you have to be harsh, unkind, or arrogant. It simply means you have to establish a level of self-respect so firm that no one dares to disrespect you. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you continue to give your time, energy, and love to someone who only sees you as an option, you reinforce the idea that this is acceptable. The only way to change the narrative is to change your own mindset. Have you ever noticed how people tend to value what is rare? The less available something is, the more it is desired. The same applies to human relationships. If you make yourself too available to someone who doesn't appreciate you, they will take you for granted. But the moment you start valuing yourself more, prioritizing your time, your goals, and your well-being, something shifts. People start noticing your absence. They start realizing what they overlooked. They start seeing you differently because you see yourself differently. This is not about playing games or manipulating people. It's about shifting your mindset from a place of neediness to a place of self-sufficiency. It's about knowing that you are whole on your own, that your worth is not defined by someone else's perception of you. When you stop seeking validation from others, you take back your power. You stop waiting for someone to pick you and start choosing yourself. One of the most powerful transformations happens when you recognize that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone. The right people will see it effortlessly. The wrong ones will fade away when they realize they can no longer manipulate you with inconsistency. And that's exactly what you want. You want people in your life who recognize your value without you having to convince them. You will know when you've truly stepped into your self-worth because your entire energy will change. You won't feel anxious waiting for a response from someone. You won't overanalyze someone's behavior, wondering if you did something wrong. You won't feel the need to chase after anyone or prove your importance to them. Instead, you will have a deep, unshakable knowing that the right people will treat you with the love and respect you deserve. And the ones who don't, they were never meant to be in your life in the first place. The shift happens the moment you decide that you are not an option. The moment you stop giving your energy to people who do not reciprocate. The moment you raise your standards and refuse to settle. It is a mindset shift that changes everything. When you carry yourself with the confidence of someone who deserves to be a priority, you will naturally attract people who see you as one. You don't have to say a word for people to understand how to treat you. Your presence alone communicates volumes. The way you carry yourself, the way you respond to situations, the way you handle disrespect, all of it sends a clear message about your worth. The world doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to the energy you project. And that energy is what dictates whether you are treated as a priority or an afterthought. When someone knows they can get away with inconsistency, they will continue to be inconsistent. When they see that you tolerate being ignored, they will ignore you. When they realize you are willing to accept last-minute plans, they will never prioritize scheduling time with you in advance. It's not about what they say or even what you say. It's about what your actions and your energy are communicating. If your energy suggests that you are willing to be an option, that you will wait around for someone's convenience, that you will accept whatever is given to you, then you are setting the stage for exactly that treatment. People don't value what is easily available. They value what stands firm, what demands respect, and what refuses to be taken lightly. Confidence is not about arrogance. And self-respect is not about being difficult. It's about setting a tone. It's about showing, not telling people that you are not someone to be played with. That message is not conveyed through words alone. It's in your posture. It's in your boundaries. It's in the way you respond to inconsistency. Do you address it directly, or do you stay silent and hope it changes? Do you remove yourself from situations where you are not valued, or do you stay in them, hoping someone will eventually see your worth? People will always test the limits of what they can get away with. This isn't necessarily done with bad intentions. It's simply human nature. If they sense that they can show up late, cancel plans last minute, disappear and reappear when it suits them, and you will still be there, why would they change? They won't. They will continue to act in a way that is easiest for them. And the moment you allow that treatment, you confirm to them that it is acceptable. Everything about you speaks louder than the words you say. If you say you want to be treated with respect, but continue to entertain those who disrespect you, your energy contradicts your words. If you say you deserve better, but refuse to walk away from situations where you are not valued, your energy tells a different story. If you act like you need someone more than they need you, you give them the upper hand without realizing it. The most magnetic people are not the ones who chase after others, begging for attention or validation. They are the ones who move with certainty, the ones who know they bring value, the ones who do not need to explain their worth to anyone. They do not accept half effort because they do not give half effort. They do not chase because they know they are worthy of being pursued. If someone truly values you, they will show it through their action. They won't leave you wondering where you stand. They won't make you question their intentions. They won't leave gaps in their effort that force you to overthink and analyze their every move. The people who see your value will treat you accordingly, And the ones who don't will make excuses. But the responsibility does not lie with them. It lies with you. You set the standard. You decide what is acceptable. And your energy, your responses, your choices, they all shape the way people perceive you. If you continue to allow people to treat you as an option, they will. If you continue to entertain inconsistency, it will persist. If you continue to be available for people who only show up when it's convenient for them, they will never prioritize you. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to recognize that you do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to convince someone to see you differently. You do not need to explain why you deserve better. The moment you feel the need to explain your worth to someone, they have already decided that you are not a priority to them. And that is not a reflection of your actual worth. It is a reflection of their perception, which you are in control of shaping. Your energy speaks louder than words in the way you carry yourself when someone disrespects your time. Do you accept their excuses, or do you distance yourself? Do you send messages begging for attention, or do you allow your absence to be felt? Do you make them feel like they are getting away with minimal effort, or do you make it clear that such behavior does not align with your standards? When your energy shifts, so does the way people treat you. When you move differently, people respond differently. When you no longer tolerate being an option, those who once saw you that way have only two choices: step up or step aside. People do not value what is always available to them. The more accessible you are, the less effort they feel they need to put in. When you are always the one initiating conversations, making plans, and putting in the effort to maintain a connection, you send a silent message. Your time and energy are easily given away. And when something is easy to obtain, it is rarely cherished. Scarcity creates value. The most desirable things in life, whether they be opportunities, relationships, or even material possessions, are the ones that require effort to attain. When something is readily available without conditions, people take it for granted. This is not about manipulation. It's about understanding human psychology. People chase what they perceive as valuable, and they overlook what they assume will always be there. Look at the most respected individuals in any field. They are not easily accessible. Their time is precious. They do not drop everything for people who do not reciprocate their energy. They do not chase. Instead, they move with a quiet confidence, knowing that their presence is valuable. And because of that, others respect them, seek them out, and work to be in their circle. The same principle applies to relationships. If you are constantly making yourself available, waiting for their call, adjusting your schedule to fit theirs, and bending over backward to prove your worth, you are creating an imbalance. The moment someone realizes they do not have to work for your time and attention, they stop appreciating it. The effort they once put in begins to fade, replaced by complacency. There is power in absence. The ability to step back, to remove yourself from situations where you are not being valued, is one of the strongest moves you can make. When you stop being so accessible, people notice. They begin to question why your attention is no longer freely given. They start to wonder why they no longer hold the same space in your life. And in that moment, they realize what they took for granted. Distance creates attraction. When you are not always available, when you have your own life, your own goals, and your own sense of purpose, you naturally become more desirable. You become a challenge. And challenges are exciting. They spark curiosity, interest, and a sense of urgency. Suddenly, the person who once treated you as an option starts to see you differently. They begin to realize that if they do not make the effort, they may lose you. But this is not just about making someone want you. It's about shifting your own mindset. When you step back and create space, you give yourself time to reflect. You begin to see things more clearly. You start to understand who truly values you and who is only there out of convenience. You gain perspective, and that perspective allows you to make better choices. Most people fear stepping back because they are afraid of losing someone. But the truth is, if someone truly values you, your absence will not push them away. It will pull them closer. And if it doesn't, then they were never really prioritizing you in the first place. You must be willing to walk away from situations that do not serve you. If someone only reaches out when they need something, if they only make time for you when it's convenient, if they do not put in the same level of effort that you do, then it is time to step back. Not as a test, not as a manipulation tactic, but as an act of self-respect. You do not need to beg for attention. You do not need to remind someone of your worth. You do not need to prove why you deserve to be a priority. The right people will see it, the wrong people will not, and that is all the clarity you need. When you create space, when you stop overextending yourself, when you allow others to experience what life is like without your constant presence, everything changes. People begin to realize that you are not just an option. They see that you are someone who values themselves too much to settle for less than they deserve. And in that realization, they either rise to meet your standards or they remove themselves from your life. Either way, you win. The way people treat you is a direct reflection of what they believe they can get away with. Every time you accept less than what you deserve, you teach them that their behavior is acceptable. Every time you tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or being treated as an afterthought, you reinforce the idea that you will stay no matter how little they give. People rarely change when they are comfortable, and they will not suddenly start treating you better if they believe you will always be there, regardless of how they behave. Boundaries are not just about keeping others in check. They are about teaching people how to engage with you. When you set clear standards for how you expect to be treated and enforce those standards through action, you send an undeniable message. You value yourself too much to accept anything less. But a boundary without enforcement is just a suggestion. It means nothing if you state your expectations but continue to tolerate behavior that contradicts them. When someone does not meet your standards, they are making a choice. They are choosing to engage with you in a way that benefits them, not you. But what many fail to realize is that you also have a choice. You get to decide whether you will continue participating in a dynamic that does not serve you, or whether you will walk away and make space for the people who respect you enough to meet your standards. The biggest mistake people make is believing that setting boundaries will push others away. The truth is, boundaries do not push away the right people. They only filter out those who were never truly invested in you. Someone who genuinely values you will respect your standards, even if it requires them to adjust their behavior. Someone who is only using you for their convenience will see your boundaries as a burden, and that is all the information you need to know. It is not enough to say what you will and will not tolerate. You must act accordingly. If someone continually disrespects your time, stop making yourself available to them. If someone only reaches out when they need something but disappears when you need support, stop being their emotional safety net. If someone treats you as an option, remove yourself from their choices. You do not have to explain, argue, or justify your decision. Your absence speaks louder than words ever could. The problem is that many people are afraid of walking away because they fear being alone. But what they do not realize is that staying in situations where they are undervalued is far lonelier than standing alone. When you tolerate less than what you deserve, you teach yourself that your needs do not matter. You condition yourself to accept treatment that drains you rather than fulfills you. Walking away is not a loss. It is a statement of self-respect. It tells the world that you would rather be alone than be in the company of those who do not see your worth. It is not an act of spite or bitterness. It is a declaration that you know what you bring to the table and will not settle for anyone who does not recognize it. People who do not respect your boundaries will test you. They will ignore your standards to see if you truly mean what you say. They will push against your limits, hoping you will cave. This is where most people fail. They give in because they do not want to create conflict. But what they do not realize is that every time they allow their boundaries to be crossed, they lose credibility. They teach others that their words carry no weight. The moment you stop accepting half effort, the moment you stop making excuses for people's behavior, the moment you decide that your peace is more important than someone else's comfort, everything changes. People either step up or step out. And either way, you are left with only those who truly value you. It is not selfish to expect respect. It is not demanding to require consistency. It is not unreasonable to want to be treated as a priority rather than an afterthought. You are not asking for too much. You are simply asking the wrong people. The right people will never make you feel like your standards are a burden. They will rise to meet them. Not because you force them to, but because they see your worth and want to be part of your life. Confidence is not something you wait to have. It is something you decide to embody. The way you carry yourself, the energy you project, and the standards you uphold dictate how others perceive you. If you move through life seeking validation, constantly questioning your worth, or waiting for someone else to affirm you, you hand over your power. People sense when someone lacks confidence, and unfortunately, those who do not value you will exploit that insecurity. But when you truly believe in yourself, when you know your worth without needing external validation, you command a different level of respect. The most attractive quality a person can have is certainty in themselves. When you walk into a room, do you shrink yourself? Or do you take up space with presence and assurance? When you engage in conversations, do you seek approval or do you speak with conviction? Confidence is not about arrogance or trying to prove anything to anyone. It is about moving through life with an unshakable belief that you are enough as you are. The moment you start seeing yourself as valuable, others will have no choice but to do the same. Desperation is repellent. People can feel when you are overly eager to please, when you are too afraid to lose them, when you place them on a pedestal above yourself. And the moment you do that, you shift the power dynamic. You unknowingly communicate that you see yourself as lesser, as someone who needs to earn their place, rather than someone who is naturally deserving. This is why some people effortlessly command respect while others constantly struggle to be noticed. The difference lies in how they perceive themselves. Confidence is cultivated through action. It is built through the decisions you make every day. Do you prioritize yourself, your goals, and your growth, or do you put others first at the expense of your own well-being? Do you chase after people who are indifferent to you, or do you invest in those who genuinely reciprocate your energy? Every action you take reinforces either self-respect or self-doubt. If you want to shift how others see you, you must first shift how you see yourself. The reason many people feel like an option rather than a priority is because they have not yet recognized their own value. They settle for breadcrumbs of attention, they accept inconsistent effort, and they tolerate being treated as an afterthought because they fear that standing firm will result in loss. But what they do not realize is that the only thing they lose by upholding their worth is people who were never truly invested in them to begin with. Confidence is knowing that you do not have to settle. It is knowing that your presence is a privilege, not a convenience. The moment you start acting like you are worth more, everything around you shifts. People treat you differently because they see that you will not tolerate anything less. They either rise to meet your energy or they remove themselves from your space. And both outcomes are a win. The ones who stay are the ones who truly respect and value you. The ones who leave were never meant to have access to you in the first place. But confidence is not just about how others treat you. It is about how you treat yourself. Do you speak to yourself with kindness and self-assurance, or do you fill your mind with doubts and insecurities? Do you set high standards for your life, or do you settle for what is available. The way you talk to yourself, the way you prioritize your own needs, the way you carry yourself in every interaction, these things shape not only how you see yourself, but also how the world responds to you. When you truly know your worth, you do not chase, you attract. You do not beg for attention, you command it. You do not plead for respect, you naturally receive it, because you embody the energy of someone who deserves it. And this does not come from external achievements, material possessions, or validation from others. It comes from within. It comes from deciding every single day that you are enough, that you are valuable, that you deserve to be a priority, not just an option. The people who are drawn to you when you stand in your confidence are different from the ones who are drawn to you when you are unsure of yourself. When you move with certainty, you attract those who recognize and respect that certainty. When you shrink yourself, you attract those who take advantage of that smallness. This is why confidence is not just a trait, it is a filter. It determines the quality of the connections you form and the way people engage with you. The only way to stop being treated as an option is to stop seeing yourself as one. The world mirrors back the energy you put out. If you see yourself as a priority, others will too. If you carry yourself with the belief that you are worthy of the best will be drawn to you. And the moment you internalize this truth, the way you move through life will never be the same again. Emotional detachment is not about being cold or heartless. It is about protecting your inner peace and refusing to be consumed by things that drain you. When you invest too much of your emotions in someone who does not prioritize you, you give them power over your well-being. You make their actions, their choices, and their level of effort the determining factor of your happiness. But the truth is, the moment you stop letting other people's inconsistency affect you, you regain control. You no longer operate from a place of need or desperation. You become the one in charge of your emotional state. Many people make the mistake of attaching their self-worth to how someone else treats them. When they feel neglected, ignored, or treated as an option, they internalize it as a reflection of their value. But this is where emotional detachment becomes a powerful tool. When you detach, you stop taking things personally. You understand that another person's lack of effort has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with their priorities. And if you are not one of them, you do not force it, you simply move accordingly. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop over-caring about things that do not serve you.